But don't forget that not because you have a title fight, you go to the street and don't see a flower growing or birds, you know, singing during the day and just observe there. Going to the gym, you know, oh, look at these birds, man. Look at the leaves falling out of there. Look at how beautiful the leaves falling out of there in the fall, you know. That was my camp for the belt, you know, the leaves was falling, you know, I look there, I look at the beauty of the nature changing every day, because if I think it belt, I lose those days. I didn't leave those days, you know what I mean?
Hello, Glover Teixeira. We're gonna go a little bit through your career. You have one of the most amazing stories in the whole of MMA. Could you go and summarize in a few sentences, in a few minutes, where you started from where you were born in Minas Gerais until now for when you won your championship?
Yeah, I was born in Sobralha, Minas Gerais, you know, small town, and I grew up in a farm my whole life, and that town over there, everybody would come to America, and that was the dream. All the teenagers, when I was teenagers, you know, I'm always liked the fight, the sports, and any sport. I wanted to be a professional athlete, you know, but in my hometown was very difficult to start. So I say America would be a good place to go and, you know, make some money and at the same time get an opportunity. So I come to United States, and the next day I was already in the gym lifting weight. I was just lifting. And my career kind of started like kind of funny because I was working a carpenter with a friend, and I told him like, hey man, I don't want to work here for the rest of my life. This cold, you know, it's too cold. And he said, hey, you want to do arm wrestling competition? Because we went to Delhi and was a sign there, say tough man competition. And he said, I said, what's tough man competition? He said, it's an arm wrestling competition. So we went there, it was boxing. So that's my first fight ever, and I beat two guys, and I went to the finals. I lost the finals, and after that I went back to the gym, and a friend showed me a tape, Royce Grace tape, beating the first UFC. I fell in love with it, and I say, I want to find jiu-jitsu school because I want to be UFC champion. I remember this day I told him that. He texted me when I won the title. He said, remember you say that? When you first watched that video, but that was 2001, 20 years ago. And then, you know, I start training. I fought my first fight at WC, and John Hackman was against John Hackman guys. John Hackman loved the heart, determination, the strong, and he said he could train me. So we went back to, you know, I come down, get my wife, Ingrid, I talked to her, because I was already married at the time with my wife, American, and, you know, I talked to her, we moved to California, trained over there for 2.5 years. I got a couple fights on me. I have like 6 fights. I lost my first couple fights, but then I got a good row, and I remember Dana White was there, 2007, watching me fighting Sokujo, the WEC, and he say, I beat Sokujo. He say, come to UFC, and then my story start, because when I come to United States, I come illegal, and I was illegal in the country, so I have to figure out there, 2007. So, you know, I had to go to Brazil, and I have to stay 3 years in Brazil, 3.5 years. And I fought, and all this time I was fighting the whole time. I fought like 20 times, you know. And then like finally after 3.5 years in Brazil, I got my green card, undefeated for I don't know how many years. I think was like maybe almost 10 years undefeated. So I signed with UFC right away, and I went straight to the title, you know. Like 5 fights, and I fought John Jones. It was a 5 rounds battle. I lost that fight, and I have a couple ups and downs in my career in UFC, you know, fight a couple good fights, a lot of main events, a lot of co-main event, you know, and every time I got to the door for the title, I lost the opportunity. But I never give up, keep going, and today I'm here, 2022, 42 years old, 20 years after I start my first fight, after I did my first fight, and 10 years in UFC, and light heavyweight champion. That's me. It's my story a little bit, summarizing, you know?
And so, can you describe after this whole story, what emotions you felt when you realized that that's it, you are the UFC world champion?
Yeah, it was a great accomplishment, you know, was the whole thing why I started, you know, and but now it's about honor God's gift, you know. Now we keep going, I keep going, honor all their work that I did, you know, because if you think like that, you go like, my whole life was towards that belt, you know, now I accomplished, what's next? You know, that's next. Next I gotta honor what God's gift, all my work, all my, you know, training and keep going and keep winning and keep doing good until I don't feel the fire inside anymore to fight. But until I still feel they're hungry, you saw. I just trained in condition this morning and I, you know, went over there and I trained and I row, and you know, that's me. I love training, I love to get better and keep going.
And so one of the things that people say about you is that, you said it yourself, you never give up. And so was there times during your career where you just lost hope, and you lost hope of maybe becoming champion, you lost hope at one point, you said that you wasn't sure you would come to the UFC. Was there ever a point where you were this close to giving up, or never?
Yeah, I mean, it's been times that you think like, you know, it's gonna be hard, because a couple fights that I did was bad, and I had some overtraining, was super stressed, and was I think it was after Corey Anderson fight I lost, and I had a bad camp kind of sort of way, like, because I was very stressed in that camp, you know, overtraining a little, so the stress hormone hit, so it was a point that I kind of wanna, I told my wife, like, if I lose another fight, then I'm probably gonna just quit, you know, because fighting this way, getting all the stress for the camp. But then I did some research and started focus on the meditation more and reading some books, man, about like how to prepare the body, how to prepare the mind, and I keep working on it. And now I find like really happy doing the camp, you know, no stress, no fear really, you know, just enjoy day by day. So that's why I start like, forget about that, forget about the goal a little bit and enjoy the journey, you know. I guess that's when things start working for me, because maybe it was too much on a fight, and I wanted the belt, and I wanted to win so bad, and I know how good I am and how much I train, you know, and I want to, like, you know, I'm one of those guys, like, I train so hard, man, I need to win this fight. Yeah, because I put the work, but that's too much pressure, that's too much attachment into the result, you know. So I start let it go a little bit, and hey man, it works, you know. It's been working.
And what would be the advice, now that you know all of this, the one advice that you now would tell yourself 20 years ago when you started?
Yeah, sometimes lose the ego, you know. Like when you're young, you have too much ego. You get hurt in the gym because you don't want to tap, you know. And I tell all my students that to lose the ego, because when you lose that, that's when you really start learning something, you know. When you get tapped in the gym, when you lose it, you don't care, you asking the guy, you know, and you train, and you know the guys is better than you. A lot of us is like this, man. You kind of like, you know, you kind of want to be the best, you know, and even in the gym, if somebody better than you, you kind of like, oh man, I got to go with that guy. I'm going to show him today. And it's, you know, too much ego. And I'll say that. I'll say watch your ego, use it for your own benefits, you know, for like when it's time to go, use that, but like, I don't know, just relax, chill, lose the attachment with the, just do your best and let the work do itself, you know. Don't be thinking about it too much. Bruce Lee say that, you know. I was gonna say, Bruce Lee say, empty your mind, right? He said so many years ago, like don't lose the attachment, lose everything. Just train and empty your mind. Go in, you know, and let it be.
So trying to have a happy life might be the success to become a champion. Yeah,
enjoy, you know, you gotta enjoy. We gotta enjoy this life. Like what are we gonna do? Where do you go and you're gonna not live that life, you know? It takes me 20 years to win the belt, you know? So what is there? Like, what if I haven't not enjoyed the journey, not have the good stories to tell, you know? Right now, I'm the world champion, right? But I lose 20 years of my life stress about it. What's the point, you know? What's the point? Maybe lose 20 years of my life stress so much that I lose family. Some people lose. I'm not talking only about fighting. I'm talking about, you know, life in general. You have a goal, and you want that goal, and you win that goal. But then, like, I had a great life. I lost 20 years. If I look back, man, you know, I'll do it again. I'll do it again, and I'll do it like with even less stress. I was never too much stress, but when it comes to UFC, you know, big fights, you kind of like, you right there to the title, you know, you kind of, you know, I was kind of getting old, and I was like, man, I got to get that, this is my opportunity. So, yeah, get a little stress, but never too crazy, you know.
Is winning the belt, or what you just said, just having lived the best life you could and trying to better yourself every day, what makes you the proudest? Like your story, or the fact that you won your belt and now you can tell it to kids and stuff like that?
Yeah, because I lived there, you know, like everywhere do I go, I have a great relationship with everybody. That was my journey, you know. I have made so many friends, so many good friends. Lioto Machida, I met him in Brazil, you know, Chocolate Del, you go Pedro Rizzo, and you go from on. This is the big names that I'm saying, you know. You know, Caio Magalhães, Rafael, you know, I can say if I say people that you don't know, but I say it's so many people that, so many friends, so many people that you open, you know, to it, and they all happy, and I'm all have a good relationship with them because that's the life I live, you know. That's the thing. It's like, it's good. I'm proud of that, you know, that today everybody can be happy with me. They happy because I won that belt, you know. That makes me happy because, you know, I didn't lose my friends. I didn't lose anything to get to the belt. Can you imagine winning the belt and people actually be upset because you want the belt? That guy did it. That fucking guy did it, man. You know, but everybody's happy because I won, so it's cool, you know.
So now when you train and when you project yourself for the future camps to come to defend your belt, is it a weight that's off your shoulder and that you're gonna enjoy even more, knowing that you've accomplished your goal? Now it's only trying to better yourself and trying to just live good?
Yes, well, yes, of course. You know, it was never weight. It was a weight in my shoulder, like I say in the beginning. You know, I want that belt. Later on, like I say, it was like I was just living the moment. You know, I didn't care about it much. But yes, because even to motivate somebody or to say somebody what works, you know, like let the ego to the side, do this way and do that way, because now you know the way, you know. If I never had won the belt, you'll be like, hey man, this is the thing I do, but it didn't make me get over there, you know. Maybe I could never say that, you know, because I could say to somebody and be like, hey man, let the ego to the side. And they say, hey Glover, but to be a champion, you need the ego. And if I wasn't a champion, you know, and I'd be like a lost situation, right? And now I accomplished it, so make me really confident in the things that I believe work, right? So that's like something that I really like, it kind of like, wow, you know, that after, it really is, you know, after I start working the mind, working meditation, working, really enjoy every day of life, enjoy the, but don't forget that not because you have a title fight, you go to the streets and don't see a flower growing or a birds, you know, singing during the day and just observe there. Going to the gym, you know, oh, look at these birds, man. Look at the leaves falling out of there. Look at how beautiful the leaves falling out of there in the fall, you know. So that was my camp for the belt. You know, the leaves was falling. You know, I look there. I look at the beauty of the nature changing every day, because if I think it belt, I lose those days. I didn't leave those days. You know what I mean? So.
So that would be my last question, but so now, what's your next big objective? Because of course, now you can live happy and enjoy the little things of life, just like you said, but I guess humans need goals. What are your goals now?
My goal is to keep living the life that I'm living now, living the moment, enjoy the training, enjoy everything, because the day that I don't enjoy anymore, I don't want to do it. I live simple, you know, so I don't have to be working for something for money. So this is a very smart thing to do, you know, not getting crazy so you got to fight for money later on. You know, you got to live simple. So now I'm doing for love. I'm doing because I want it. I'm doing because I want to see, I want to prove it to myself. I want to see what you know, a 42 years old Glover can do this year, defend the belt 2 times, and be, I want to see that. I want to do my best doing it. And I love doing it. I love to put myself in a situation, in a training. Oh man, I got to camp, I got to diet, I got to do this, I got to get strong, I got to, you know, work on the speed, you know, and that's what I wanted to do. And live every day and see what's, you know, and see what's, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going to be. The result doesn't matter. I'm already happy. Whatever God decide, it's already there. Bring it on. Bring it on, whatever life have to, you know, let it come. You know, it's like a situation. You got to put, you know, I follow this guy, Sadhguru, from India, right? He say, make yourself in a certain way that if you're in heaven or hell, it doesn't matter to you. You know, you be the same way. You're in heaven or you're in hell, you are the same way. You're center, you're good, whatever comes, you deal with the situation. You know what I mean? So he say, in that way, it's like, you're always in peace, you're always strong, you're always ready.
Well, that was incredible. Yeah. Thank you very much, yeah. Glover Teixeira.
Thank you, man.
I'm fucking coming for you!